In 1994, while researching in China for Virtual Fighter, Yu Suzuki began to create his concept for a new adventure game. His original plan was to create a traditional RPG with the characters and storyline of Virtual Fighter. However, as development went on, the game moved away from its Virtual Fighter roots and became its own unique universe. Never having an official title, the game was known only as Project Berkeley. While originally a Sega Saturn game, the project suffered from massive delays and a slow development process. When the Sega Saturn met its demise, the project was shelved until it was eventually moved to Sega's next console, the Dreamcast. During the game's development, anticipation started to grow. Many became intrigued by Yu Suzuki's concept for an open-world environment that demonstrated the power of Sega's new console. The game was viewed as a flagship title and killer app for the Dreamcast. It was released in November 1999 in Japan and a whole year later in North America under the title Shenmue. The game featured an open-world environment that consisted of actual towns in Japan. There were many people and objects to interact with, real-time cutscenes, and a fighting system based on Yu Suzuki's Virtual Fighter. Every character was fully voiced in either Japanese or English dialogue. The game also featured quick time events, which involved pressing certain buttons in order during a given event. Many perceived Shenmue as an RPG game, while the gameplay focus was more akin to an adventure game. Yu Suzuki didn't want to associate Shenmue with a typical RPG, so he coined the term free, which stood for Full Reactive Eyes Entertainment. This term was used to refer to the real-time weather changing system, night and day cycles, and the interactive characters with daily routines and schedules. The soundtrack was composed by numerous video game music composers, including Yuzo Koshiro, who was best known from other Sega titles as Sonic the Hedgehog and Streets of Rage. The story begins with a mysterious girl overlooking a cliff in the mountains and awaiting a young man who comes from the east. This young man's unrealized potential is a power capable of either destroying him or realizing his will. His path in life will be fraught with adversity which must be faced and endured by his courage. Her destiny is to encounter this man and travel together with him on his path. While her presence is shrouded in mystery, she will have a deep influence on this man's fate. On November 29, 1986, in Yokosuka, Japan, Ryo Hazuki returns home to his family dojo to discover that his home has been invaded and his family has been attacked. He finds his father, Iwa Hazuki, in the midst of a battle with a mysterious man in Chinese attire named Lan Di. The man demands Ryo's father to hand over a stone dragon mirror, but he refuses. Lan Di easily defeats Ryo's father as well as Ryo himself in battle, and then threatens to kill Ryo if his father doesn't give in to his demands. Reluctantly, Ryo's father reveals the location of the mirror to Lan Di. After finding the mirror, Lan Di reveals to Ryo that his father killed a man named Zhao Sun Ming. Then, in one final attack, Lan Di kills his father and leaves with the mirror. In his final moments, Iwa apologizes to Ryo for what he has done to him and tells him to never let go of his closest friends before taking his last breath. 4 days later, Ryo, still haunted by the memories of the night his father was murdered, finds a letter written to him in his father's room. According to the letter, his father knew that he was going to die. Ryo becomes determined to find the man who killed his father and get his revenge. In order to do so, he begins by investigating the events that occurred on the day of the murder. Ryo begins his quest with the help of friends and people in the town. Fuke-san, a live-in student at the Hazuki dojo, tells him what he recalls from the events of that fateful day. Tom Johnson, the local hot dog vendor, gives Ryo a better description of the man who murdered his father. Ryo learns from the Chinese people in the town that Lan Di may be associated with a Chinese black market cartel that recently set up base in the nearby harbor. Nozomi Harasaki, Ryo's childhood friend, has always had a strong relationship with him, but despite their love and affection for each other, the relationship is never able to progress beyond friendship. As Ryo becomes more involved with the search for his father's killer, Nozomi can only watch from a distance while she continues with her high school graduation. Things take a turn for the worse when Nozomi learns that she must return home to her mother in Canada, who has recently become ill. She becomes divided between her family and a potential future with Ryo. However, as Ryo becomes more focused on his search for Lan Di, they begin to grow further apart from one another. One day, Ryo's housekeeper Ine-san tells him of a letter that arrived for his father shortly after his death. The letter, written by a man named Zhu Yuanda, told Ryo's father of Lan Di and to seek the aid of a man named Master Chen. On the back of the letter is a phone number to a warehouse in the nearby harbor. Ryo tracks down the warehouse and meets up with Master Chen along with his son Guizhang. Master Chen tells Ryo that Lan Di is the leader of a crime organization known as the Chi-Yo Men. They also tell Ryo of his father's relation to Zhu Yuanda. Supposedly, Zhu and Ryo's father brought back 2 mirrors from China. Ryo recalls that Lan Di only knew of and stole one of the mirrors from his house. Upon investigating his house, he discovers a hidden basement underneath the dojo and finds the other mirror with a phoenix design. When Ryo returns to Master Chen with the phoenix mirror, Master Chen tells him of an ancient Chinese prophecy. According to the prophecy, when the dragon and phoenix meet, the gates of heaven and earth will open, unleashing a mythical Chinese monster named Chi-Yo that would devour the world. Master Chen believes that Ryo must never allow Lan Di to obtain both mirrors. Before they finish conversing, they are interrupted by a strange man named Chai, who works for Lan Di and attempts to steal the mirror.
Oh! Hazuki! Push that button!
Guizhang believes that Chai is linked to the Chi-Yo Men and the Mad Angels, the local gang that's been causing trouble for Chen's company. Master Chen believes Lan Di may be heading to Hong Kong next. Upon hearing this, Ryo decides that he must travel to Hong Kong and continue his pursuit. He asks Master Chen and Guizhang for assistance, but they refuse, believing that Ryo shouldn't waste his life on revenge. To learn more about the Mad Angels, Ryo gets a job working at the harbor with the help of his friend Goro. Soon after working at the harbor, he is harassed by many members of the Mad Angels. After constantly refusing to give in to their demands, they threaten him with the endangerment of his friends and family. Soon, Ryo learns from his fellow co-worker Mark of an upcoming black market deal called the Long Jia, which involves the Chi-Yo Men and the Mad Angels. Ryo interrogates one of the Mad Angels to reveal to him the identity of Terry, the boss of the Mad Angels. Later that night, Ryo learns that Chai has kidnapped Nozomi, which forces Ryo into an encounter with Terry. Terry admits to having met with Lan Di and agrees to let Ryo meet him under the condition that Ryo get rid of Guizhang. The next day, Ryo meets up with Guizhang and demands a fight with him. During the fight, Ryo tells him to fake a defeat. Guizhang refuses and continues the fight until they both knock each other out. Terry uses this chance to kill Guizhang himself, but Ryo saves him at the last moment and they both confront Terry. However, before they can fight him, Terry calls upon all 70 members of the Mad Angels to confront Ryo and Guizhang in one final battle. When they catch up with Terry, Guizhang chooses to fight Terry alone and comes out victorious. With the Mad Angels defeated, Ryo interrogates Terry about the whereabouts of Lan Di. Unfortunately, Terry tells him that Lan Di has already left for Hong Kong. Despite this setback, Ryo is still determined to track down Lan Di, but is left with few options. Guizhang understands Ryo's determination and decides to ask Master Chen for assistance. With their help, Ryo acquires a boat ticket to Hong Kong. To help Ryo locate the whereabouts of Lan Di in Hong Kong, Master Chen tells him that Guizhang will be traveling along with him. However, Chai attempts to kill Ryo, but Guizhang saves him while getting injured himself. Ryo and Chai square off one last time and Ryo is finally able to defeat him. With Guizhang incapacitated at the moment, Master Chen decides to introduce Ryo to Tao Li Shou, one of Hong Kong's elder masters. So, with these instructions in hand, Ryo leaves his home country and continues his journey in Hong Kong. Unbeknownst to Ryo, his quest to find Lan Di would reveal to him a destiny that has been predetermined since ancient times. His fate would become a far greater importance than he could ever imagine. While his journey in Japan is complete, many questions still remain. Why did Lan Di kill Ryo's father? Who is Zhu Yuanda, the man who knew of Lan Di's pursuit? What is the true significance of the 2 stone mirrors? And who is the mysterious girl who waits for Ryo's arrival? After Shenmue was released, many critics and gamers praised what they considered was Yu Suzuki's finest achievement yet. Shenmue was acclaimed for its amazing cinematic experience and interactive open world. To this day, Shenmue's soundtrack is considered one of the greatest video game soundtracks of all time. However, just as Shenmue received much praise, there were almost just as many people who were turned off by the game. Many found the gameplay to be very tedious and boring, while others couldn't deal with the lengthy and numerous cutscenes or some of the hilariously bad English voice acting.
Don't you know that blackmail is way uncool?
This kid's got a death wish!
He's got some screws loose!
What?
Ultimately, these flaws prevented many gamers to enjoy the game for what it was. Even with these complaints from gamers and critics, the game managed to sell well over 1 million copies worldwide, one of the few Dreamcast games that did. Shenmue was one of the most expensive games in development for its time, costing up to $70 million. This was likely a result of the several scrapped versions of the game, such as the early Sega Saturn version. Fortunately, during the development process, Yu Suzuki had already established the groundwork for future installments in the Shenmue saga. The first game was planned as the first chapter in a 16-part series. Fans didn't have to wait long until the next installment of Ryo's adventure. Unfortunately, it would be the last time gamers would ever step into the shoes of Ryo Hazuki. Next time, in part 2 of this Shenmue Retrospective, Ryo arrives in Hong Kong. Ryo's journey continues in the harbour town of Aberdeen, the city streets of Kowloon, and the region of Guilin.